From massive sea creatures to animals that can live in zero oxygen. Stay tuned to number 1 to find out which is the strangest animal walking this planet. Number 10. Pink Fairy Armadillo. To kick off our list, here is the smallest member of the armadillo family, the pink fairy armadillo. This strange-looking animal lives in the grasslands of Argentina, and it's nocturnal by nature. This little guy was first scientifically noted and described in 1825 by one of the famous nature scientists of the time, Richard Harlan. What makes the pink fairy armadillo funny is that, at first sight, the creature doesn't even look like an armadillo at all. It's more like a combination of a mole and a platypus, along with the head of a hamster. And this is not an overstatement. They have really small eyes and a long pink-colored shell on their back, which is connected to their body by a gentle membrane. This part of the body probably evolved as some kind of a defense mechanism to protect the animal from constant attacks in the open air. On top of all of this, there are shovel-like paws with big claws and a funny-looking tail. All in all, the pink fairy armadillo is one of the greatest weirdos out there. Number 9. Pangolin. The next item on our list is an animal living in the much larger region than its predecessor. And compared to this animal, a regular armadillo looks like a weakling. The pangolin is characterized by massive scales covering its entire body, and it looks more like an armadillo in a knight's armor, prepared for a medieval battle or a tournament. But unfortunately, its story is not that romantic at all. Pangolins belong to the group of the most illegally hunted animals on the planet, and they amount to around 1/4 of the world's animal black market. What makes pangolins amazing though is that they are the only type of mammal with a keratin-based scale covering their body. No other animal has this biological feature. They are also nocturnal animals with a very humble diet. They only consume termites and ants, grabbing them with their long tongues like anteaters. But they also have a strong sense of smell, which helps them track down their food. Pangolins are pretty solitary, and they only get together for the mating season. They can be found in Africa as well as India and Southeast Asia. Number 8. Japanese spider crab. Well, this explains many of the Japanese manga creations. No wonder the Japanese animators have a vivid imagination, with all the weird-looking animals that can be found in the country. All jokes aside, the Japanese spider crab is really something, like it came directly out of a sci-fi movie set. This arthropod has the largest leg span at 18 feet, and it also had relatives dating into prehistoric times, as 2 similar fossils have been found, and both of them belong to the same genus that the spider crab comes from. The interesting thing is that this Japanese name for this animal is Takaashigani, which can literally be translated as tall legs crab. They have a strong exoskeleton, which proves valuable for survival, because the spider crab can protect itself from many predators, including big octopuses. But they also protect themselves by camouflage, blending into the rocky ocean floor or wrapping in sponges or other animals and plants. The Japanese spider crab is an omnivore, but also a scavenger, eating the remains of dead animals and plants. These crazy crabs live quite deep, from 500 to 1,000 foot below the ocean surface. Before we move on, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more videos by Zero to Hero. Number 7. Gobi jerboa. It looks like a mouse, but it's not a mouse. It looks like a rabbit, but it's not a rabbit. So, what is it then? It's Gobi jerboa, a rodent living in the regions of present-day Mongolia and China. This strange animal was first discovered in 1925, living in the famous Gobi Desert. Its diet mainly consists of all kinds of seeds and roots, as well as some insects. Its tail helps it run very fast, and thanks to its long ears, it can hear very well and sense any kind of danger. The ears are so big that they exceed the size of the animal's head almost 2 times. Another very important function of the ears is to help cool the animal's body after a long day in the hot desert. That's evolution for you. Everything happens for a reason, even when you have enormous ears. Number 6. Colugo. Colugo is a mammal living in the region of Southeast Asia. It belongs to the famous group of gliding mammals, such as flying squirrels or flying lemurs, using the skin between the legs to leap around and glide. No, it's not really flying, but it's at least something. Not only that they are one of the few gliding mammals, but they are in fact the world's best gliding mammals of all. In some areas, they also go by the name of lemurs, but as a matter of fact, they just picked up the nickname because of the resemblance. These animals predominantly live in the trees, which is why they have developed their gliding skills and use them to a large extent. The amazing thing is that a colugo barely loses altitude when jumping from tree to tree, because the membrane between their legs is very effective. On the other hand, they are pretty lousy climbers, and the only way for them to climb a tree is through a series of small-sized hops, because their hands are just too weak for regular climbing. And to make things even stranger, otherwise, why would the animal even be on this list? Let's also mention this. Colugos belong to a group of placental mammals, but they are raised in a marsupial-like fashion. The mother curls her tail around the young, making an improvised pouch. Here's to colugos, those awesome weirdos. Number 5. Dumbo octopus. As the name suggests, this octopus resembles Dumbo, the character from the eponymous Disney classic, and although the species has a proper scientific name, Grimpoteuthis, the name Dumbo octopus has stuck to this day. No wonder why though, as the name itself is so catchy. The Dumbo correlation comes from its elephant ear-like fins above the eyes, but just to be clear on this, they are not ears, they are fins. And these fins actually play a crucial role because the Dumbo octopus uses them for swimming. These fins serve as propellers which the animal flaps in order to gain speed, and they are pretty effective because this animal can move in all directions and even hover above the seabed. Number 4. Giant soft-shell turtle. Well, you can figure this one out by yourself. A turtle isn't a turtle unless it has a hard shell. Except for this one. This is a real species of turtle, and it's named softshell because of obvious reasons. It lives in the region of Southeast Asia, and it's one of the biggest freshwater turtles. The animal is characterized by a broad yet quite small head and tiny eyes. Its shell is soft and smooth. The absolutely crazy thing about it is that it remains motionless for 95% of its time and only moves in order to breathe some air and eat, otherwise spending time buried in the sand. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, the future of this amazing animal is uncertain, and it has been classified as endangered. Fingers crossed for the soft-shelled. Number 3. Naked mole rat. As if a regular rat wouldn't be gross enough, we give you the naked mole rat. This not-so-pretty rodent lives in East Africa, where it is known as the sand puppy. Although it really doesn't look nice, it's truly a wonder of nature, in the evolutionary sense of the word. The naked mole rat is the only animal from the mammalian kingdom that is a thermoconformer, meaning that it has the ability to adapt its body temperature to any kind of environment, in spite of the predominant temperature. Furthermore, it has a low metabolic and respiratory rate, and it has practically no pain sensors in its skin. This animal does not have strong vision, but it can move quite fast both backwards and forwards, which is very effective when it comes to living below ground and digging up tunnels. This is absolutely necessary because it spends most of its life underground. It can be deprived of fresh air for quite a long time, being able to survive several hours in a place where there's only 5% oxygen. And in an environment without any oxygen, it can actually survive for more than 15 minutes. All of this makes the naked mole rat the ultimate survivor. Number 2. Aye-aye. Probably one of the ugliest, if not the ugliest land creature, the aye-aye is an animal from the lemur species, and it finds its native natural habitat in Madagascar. Apart from being on the opposite side of the word beautiful, aye-aye is also the largest nocturnal primate in the world. This animal has also been the subject of a lot of debate when it comes to its origin and biological classification. Because of its incisor teeth, some classify it as a rodent. But on the other hand, because of the shape of its eyes, ears, and nostrils, it's also very similar to the cat family. The aye-aye spends most of its life high up in the trees where they eat, sleep, and mate. Number 1. Long-beaked echidna. This is one of the strangest creatures on the planet, and it lives in New Guinea. As you might have guessed it, there's also a relative called the short-beaked echidna, but the long-beaked version is far stranger looking. If we were to describe the animal in one short sentence, it would be the combo between an aardvark and a hedgehog. The long-beaked echidna belongs to the group of egg-laying mammals, which is known under the name of monotremes. The eggs are kept in a pouch like a marsupial's as they incubate. The long-beaked echidnas are also interesting because they are the world's mammal with the lowest body temperature. Many scientists are of belief that these animals are the remains of the earliest mammals that ever walked the planet, thus offering us a glimpse into what it was like to be a mammal millions of years ago, where they were slowly evolving into a group of their own, quite separate from reptiles. Tell us what you thought was the strangest animal in the comments below, and take care.